Oh, man. Whew. Came in hot.
Was that the music?
Wait, are we supposed to start?
No. The it didn't start recording, so I stopped it. I'm sorry.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Now we're recording. I'm gonna hit the music. 1 second.
Leave this all in.
Yeah, this is all for everybody. Oh, boy.
Quick fade out. Welcome to the Radical Dude Cast. What's up?
When's the last time you heard that song? I used to have to hear that song every time I used to put the music in front of the episode. When's the last time you guys even heard it?
Yeah, I mean, I did that for 5 years, so I also
like
heard it a lot.
You did for 1 week in 2008.
I did it the whole beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just saying that I haven't heard the music in a while, and now I heard it.
Oh, really? I hear it because I'll listen to the episodes. Lately, I've been listening to them because I've been enjoying them lately. So I listen to them now, and so I hear it almost every week.
Oh, nice.
Good to know you never didn't enjoy it before. I
enjoyed it, but not to the level I am now. So I listened much more infrequently. I'm thinking about donating to the Patreon. Honestly, I'm listening at such a rate.
Yeah, you're gonna be listening to them for free, man. That's fucked up.
Yeah, man. I might shell out the $5 to get to that first tier.
Dude, if me and Greg find out you're pirating our podcast that we all three do together, it's going to be consequences, bro.
Yeah.
If you think I know how to pirate anything.
Well, you could just log in and listen.
Yeah. Pirating for you would just be facial recognition on your iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I listen to them. What do you mean? Wait.
I talk about the Patreon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I have been. Yeah, you're right. I should be putting money back in. I have been listening to them. I shouldn't have admitted that to you guys.
No,
you're supposed to be. We're all supposed to be listening, to get better at our craft. But I can't hear. Everything I say is stupid and crazy, and I interrupt everybody. I don't know why anyone listens to this. I go, why does anyone listen to this when I hear it? Why does anyone think I'm funny?
You'd be surprised. Really. People get turned on by such strange things in this world. You gotta you figure you're in the mix.
I listen every week, and every week I say, this is an unbelievable pile of horse shit, and it's ruined by me. I said, if Greg and Anthony could go off on their own, it would be gold. They'd be famous. I ruin it every week.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, that's not true at all, man.
Thanks,
you're really, you're the driving, you're the glue of this podcast. Greg is the driving force, and I'm around.
Hey, we're all guys who just show up to the podcast. That's really all we are. Anyway, I've got some topics to get into today, if that's all right.
Yes, that's great. First, I unless this was part of your topics, I'd love to set the scene. Can you tell us, Greg, where are you and Anthony?
Oh, we're in the. I want to say North Carolina, but that's not true. Because I live in North Carolina.
No, we're in Rockport, Massachusetts. How many fingers now?
He's got 3 fingers up.
Damn, this guy's.
Yeah,
good,
man, I could see you through the window. That's how windows work. You're just through the window. It's fine. You're doing great. Yeah, we're in Rockport. It's all right. It's pretty nice. There's no air conditioning in the rooms, and our refrigerator broke. So coolness is really a mental state now. You have to make yourself cool on the inside.
Yeah.
Anthony, you have a question.
This house wants us outside. It doesn't want. It wants us to enjoy nature. This house is trying to get us to the trees as much as it can.
Yeah. At first, it was like, oh, it's hot in this room, so go outside. And then it's like, oh, there's actual food that you can eat from nature. Go fish. That's why the refrigerator broke. Yeah. It's trying to push us to hunting and gathering again. Seeds.
Yeah.
So Anthony and Greg are on a couples vacation in the woods or lake, beach. What kind of deal is it?
It's a weird place. I don't think it's rocks. Everything's rocks. We're like, there's everything. We're on boulder. There's no beaches. You're on boulders. It's very scary.
This sounds like the start of a horror movie. You're on this couple's vacation. The electricity's broken. It's rocks everywhere. This is not good.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I'll tell you though, I had to go out to the town the other day, and there was a little. I made friends with this little handicapped midget guy. He had Down syndrome and was also a midget, and he was handing out paperwork. I didn't know. I didn't know. Like, it's like a bad hand, I guess. Like because most people I meet who are dwarves are not also have Down syndrome, but he had both, and so I was like, well, this guy's going to be my friend because he is not going to care about my flaws. So he was handing out all these flyers for Rockport, and I kept trying to talk to him, and he just kept like backing away, and I was like, what's up, man? And he was like, I don't like your mask. He thought my mask was not government issued, so he got mad at me for trying to talk to him through a mask that wasn't up to his par. He had like he was going to go paint a room,
like a respirator. He's probably immunocompromised. But the thing is, in that situation, I mean, I do understand people need money, but it's like, well, you can't be the flyer. You can't be a flyer guy then.
He wasn't being paid. They do it voluntarily. They do it for Rockport. So
that's even worse.
Double that. Yeah. He was out there with his old guy who was like, you're good out here by yourself, Donnie? And he was like, I'll be good. I'll be good. He had like a naturally deep voice, which I thought was cute. He's like, I'll be good. He was cute. He was so cute.
I also like how when you first described him, you misspoke a little bit and you said he was handing out paperwork.
He was.
While his flyers aren't, I thought you meant he was like handing out like an IRS form for you. Like, hey, you got to fill this out. But like, who are you? What are you talking about?
No, it was all like come to Rockport things. Like, here's what to do in Rockport. And you got to wear your masks all the way. Man, all right. Somebody else talk.
Well,
I got nothing.
It's also kind of funny.
I got nothing in it. It wasn't even that interesting.
It's also kind of funny because it's like, hey, man, I'm here. Like, you got to do this in a different city. I'm already in Rockport.
You won us over. Yeah. Come to Rockport. We are here. Who are you selling this? Come back? You got to write back on all these flyers.
Yeah.
Totally.
Job done, Donnie. Job done. I'm here, man. No flyers necessary. Take this over to Sandport.
Yeah.
Wait, was that real?
Yeah. That happened when I went to get the egg sandwiches. I went to get the egg sandwiches. Tito walked over to the beat. Was that real? No. I didn't meet up a little handicap. It would have been funnier if it wasn't real. I just told you exactly what happened. Yeah, there was a little kid. Go ahead.
It had a lot of elements of a lie in it.
Really?
That's the only reason I asked. Yeah, there was a lot of fantastical things happening at the same time.
His name was Donnie. What was fantastical about seeing a handicapped kid handing out paperwork?
I don't know, man. A handicapped little person named Donnie who was handing out paperwork in the middle of town, who then said he didn't like the safety of your mask. That all just
but it made sense.
No, I'm saying it made sense. I'm not questioning the validity. I wasn't sure. I thought it wasn't real just because it seemed like so many wild elements coming together.
All right, if I was going to redo that story, so let's just see, right? Actually, I will say the validity of some part is I'm not necessarily sure about his name. I just kind of said Donnie. I didn't really know. I don't know if he said his name and I forgot it. But I just, that kind of thing I don't count as a lie. That's like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
Stop the story.
Sure.
Not say his name.
Could be Donnie.
What?
Could be Donnie. We don't know.
So if that was a lie, he would have taken off the mask. I would have noticed he's not a handicapped person, beautiful woman who wanted to make love to me. And I turned it away.
I see.
Yeah. No, he was just some kid. He was just I don't know if he was a kid. I don't really know how to age these things.
It's hard to age. It's hard to pin an age on when you got multiple situations going. It's hard to pin an age on them because then you start running into sort of, what's that? What's when you get old real quick?
Jack disease.
Jack disease or Benjamin Button.
No, that's reverse Benjamin Button.
Oh, yeah.
Benjamin Button got younger, right?
So Jack.
When he was old, he was a baby. Yeah, Jack. He had Jack disease. He had Robin Williams Jack disease. It's hard to know. You start getting into these syndromes and you say, I can't. Like Terry, the dwarf, that beat up Mr. Braddock in 7th grade. I've told that story many times when the dwarf beat up the algebra teacher. That guy, Terry, could have been anywhere from 12 to 47. And there was no telling. He was ageless, really, ageless. And I think he was on the older side. I think he was doing a sneak move where he just wanted to get back into school and beat up a teacher, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, that's a move when you try to transfer back to a school to fight a teacher and you're 50. And you're like, this is how you could just wait after school for him. Yeah, this kid was cool, though. Go ahead, Anthony.
Surprising more dwarfs aren't undercover cops in schools, you know? Surprising they don't take advantage of that. You know, they mainly put them in the circus, or they put them to work at chocolate factories. But they're not putting them to use in the police force.
Well, but I think because physically I don't know that they run as fast. The cartwheels don't do as make them move faster or anything like that. I totally get. Also, when you see you look. This is dicey ground here because I was raised by dwarves, but I don't like to make fun of them because of that. You look at them and you go, "That's not a kid. That's a different type." You know, they got big old.
I know.
Yeah, got a bigger head and some legs.
But how about this? I think they would be effective as undercover cops just in life, because I think if a drug dealer was like, "Hey man, are you a cop?" They could be like, "What? I'm a dwarf. How can I be a cop?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? Have you ever seen a dwarf cop?
Never.
Ridiculous, I think that would be the move, because it's like that's too, get an amputee, anything crazy that you've never seen as a cop.
Now you're talking.
Get them as the undercover.
Of course.
Cop. Get a blind guy.
Get a horse.
You might be a cop. I can't see you, idiot. How would they let me be a cop?
Yeah, can you pretend to be blind, or the criminals would see right through that because they know how to pretend to be blind, because they're always pretending to be blind to get money from you at the mall.
You could make yourself blind for the sting, and then you can you can get to the brink of blindness in your vision, and then you can have it reversed once the sting is over.
Yeah, what's the best way to be an undercover cop? I love this idea of if they're not gonna let a one-armed man in there. I don't know. Those are all pretty good. Maybe this well is dry.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Maybe I think if you got a guy that was so fully neck down paralyzed, they have to blow into a straw to steer their wheelchair. That might be the top undercover cop, because he's beyond suspicion.
Yeah, you're a robot. Because they'd be worried about being deprogrammed, is he programmed? You could check his programming. Not a cop. And then you find out that deeper programming is a cop.
No, this guy's cool. He's a robot. I can see that being said a lot around the docks. No. Edgar's cool. He's a giant phone. He's all right.
You know what? Go ahead.
I'd like also, Greg, how you think that the criminals just have a guy on hand that could check his programming. Hey, Tony, take a look at his mainframe there. I know you got that IT degree.
They always have their hacker guy, right? They always have their one. He sits in the car. He sits in the back of the van.
Yeah, right.
And he's the best hacker ever. But he can't fight. They'll shoot him. He's vulnerable, but he's running the system. His name is Micro or something.
Flash drive.
Yeah, everyone else has normal names.
Yeah.
Jimmy, Billy, and that's Jimmy. That's Wires. We call him Wires.
Yeah. He always he has a weird affectation about him. You know what I mean? Where he just like eats jam with a spoon. And it's just Mikey's weird, but Micro's all weird, but he gets the job done. Something about that jam.
Yeah. And then he always under promises what he can do in the amount of time. He goes, that'll take a while. Done. And then you're like, God damn it, Wires. Just showing off again.
Oh, him? That's keyboard crackers. We call him that because he's good at keyboards and he only eats crackers.
Hey, you ever see these guys in bands that play the wires? That's crazy to me. You ever see those guys? Where there's a beautiful woman singer and then she's next to a guy and he's just got a bunch of wires and he's touching a bunch of buttons. Who's that guy? The wires guy. You know who I'm talking about?
Like a DJ.
There used to be DJs, but now there's guys with wires.
Yeah, it's like a high level. It's like
Mainframes.
sampling. They're doing a lot of sampling and like plugging things in and playing with
To no beat. He just like beep, 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 beep. Yeah, no, he's just playing the wires. That's it.
It's an interesting. I think that's a claim you could get away with, like, because no one knows the facts behind that. So if you're trying to like pick up a lady, and you said like, "Oh, I'm the wire guy for Adele. I play the wires.
I play the wires,
Adele."
man.
Yeah, and they wouldn't know what that is, so no disproving it.
And that's a woman you don't want. You know what I mean? That's a test. If you play the wires and she doesn't know anything about the wires, you throw her back to the sea. That was never going to be love.
This is a good way if like you're secretly rich and you don't want to tell anybody how. You're like, oh, I play like that's actually a great cover if you're in the cops, you know, and they're like, you know, like a money laundering scam. It's like, how do you make all your money? Well, I play the wires. Well, no one knows how those things work. So I guess he does.
Yeah.
No?
I'm pretty sure that's what our business already is. Like, I think that's what 87% of comedy clubs is just a money laundering scheme where the IRS is like, I don't understand that business. I don't know how people are getting paid. I don't know what the system is. Leave it alone.
Yeah, you could just go, there was 1 million people here last night.
Yeah.
You go, well,
yeah.
No, there wasn't.
I didn't feel like 1 million.
Yeah. You didn't know that Louis Stamatis draws 5 sold-out shows a week? That's not even a lot.
Yeah.
This club's not doing that great with their money laundering.
Yeah, it is funny. Like, even like some clubs will be good. You get paid with an envelope of cash in the bathroom, and it's weird to be like, man, that's one of the better money laundering fronts in the business. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
repeat that?
Like they're called comedy clubs, but you get paid in like an envelope of cash. Like you have to be like, for a money laundering front, this is great. You know, like they've put real effort in here.
There's somebody, I think it's it's either Bruce or Earthquake, but like he came up like in the Chitlin circuit, and it was like kind of common to get ripped off. And so some club owner was telling me this, and so he only accepts cash, but now he's huge and sells out with a door deal. So the clubs have to give him like $70,000 in cash every week, where it's like he just leaves with a briefcase of $70,000 in cash.
That's so dangerous.
It's
so dangerous.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. I mean, how is Bruce not getting robbed?
Well, I would imagine it's probably more dangerous to try and rob Bruce. I imagine he rolls around. If he's doing 70,000 in cash every week, there's somebody with him who will shoot you, is my guess. In his manager probably also has a gun.
But why doesn't he just get a bank?
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of getting $70,000 in cash. I
would lose it or spend it before I leave.
I'm also probably fucking up Bruce's whole tax cheating scheme by saying this out loud. I don't know exactly who it is.
Well, we know one thing about our podcast. The IRS is not listening.
yeah, man.
They're not listening to this.
Yeah. I don't know that we have any accountants that listen.
Do you have any old things that you still do? Like, that's clearly because he has, like, you know, he came up in that circuit and he was used to people trying to rob him. So he's a new, you know, can't change his stripes. Do you have anything that you guys still do that you're from the old days that you're like, wow, I'm just, oh my God, my battery's going to die. I got to plug my computer in. You guys answer that, and I'm going to grab my wire, and then you just tell me again. Just leave out some fun details.
Comedically or life-wise?
I'll take anything. I got to get my battery.
What about you, Anthony? Life-wise, do you have any like throwback moves you do?
Yeah, I mean, I still talk to myself. It's ramped up, man.
Yeah, I
you
do
know.
Too. Yeah,
I'm falling into the brink of madness. The other day, I was in the kitchen and I said something, and Julia was like, "What did you say?" And I had to repeat to her that I said, this is going to sound, I said this to myself. I said, this is going to sound controversial, but I think the Cavs were a better team than the Heat. I said it as if I was mid arguing with someone. You know what I mean? Like I preface it by being like, look, I don't want you to get mad at this, but I'm going to say it for nobody.
I love that as a Clevelander, I love that you said that. I appreciate that you said that.
I stand by it too. I think if you look at that big three, they were more in their prime than the Heat big three, and they don't get the credit. I also think it was a more well-built team for LeBron. But that's that's it. What's up?
How
Greg?
long was I gone that you're talking about basketball?
2 years.
I left you guys
You're
with a
gone
question.
for 2 years.
I expected to come right back in on what I was talking about, and now you're talking about LeBron James.
I'll fill you in. One of Anthony's habits that he's never gotten rid of is talking to himself. And Julia caught him having a basketball debate with himself.
Oh, that's great.
I do the same thing. I talk to myself too much, but I've kind of like made it less crazy by now what I do, because Amy's a pretty heavy sleeper.
Yeah.
So I wait till she goes to sleep, and then I talk to her for about an hour. So I'm talking to myself, but someone's there. So it's like, if anyone were to catch me, I'd say, no, I was talking to her. But she's deep asleep, and I'm just telling her theories on life and how the world should be going.
Wait, what are some of the things that you say?
I'll just be lying in bed going like, here's the problem. I can tell you how we could solve the Black Lives Matter issue. And I'll go through my whole theory on that. And, I break things down while she's asleep.
Does it ever work into her dreams?
Yes, often. She has nightmares and she'll wake up and like catch me. She'll wake up on like a piece of me being like, and I do believe that Israel now has rights, but I don't know if it was a good idea in the first. Like she'll wake up on like just me having political debates and like just like what? And I just say I love you. Go to sleep. And then I put my hands over her eyes and close them.
What if Amy wakes up and she just goes, I just figured it out. I know how to solve the Gaza Strip.
I've been doing more with Tita, telling her more of what's going on in my head. Because like sometimes we'll be driving and I'll ask her a question and I'm like, do I get to see your family anymore if we get a divorce? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I just saw this rest stop. And I imagine that there was a guy at the rest stop who tried to fight us. And then I punched him. Then he got really hurt. But I went to jail. And Tita was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not going to be with a man who's in jail. So then I get out of jail and I still want to see the family. The family didn't let me see them, even though I have a pass. And then like I tell her the whole story now that's going on that led up to the question of like, would you leave me? I don't even remember what I just said, but I've been getting better at telling her that. And she's like, I think she's been pretty receptive to hearing these wild adventures that are going on that lead up to the insane questions that she gets an hour after silence.
It's hard, I think, for all three of our significant others to like really truly understand the inner workings of what's going on in our brains. Like, because all three of us have this whole fantasy dialogue going at all times.
Yeah.
It's just like a million miles an hour. There is a world in my brain that's happening that's separate from the real world. And like, I'll let you in, but like, you're not going to like this museum. You know what I mean? Like there's some exhibits that are not good to look at.
It's a sloppily, and this museum has no theme. Know that going into these floors are not going to make sense to you whatsoever.
I walk into every situation like Batman does. I have 15 ways to shut someone down for the argument that we never had. Right? Like, I know it's like, well, I'm going to walk in there. They're going to not like this. And here's the 15 things I'm going to say about that. And then it's like, they never even said your shirt was ugly or whatever, but like, they're going to come in, they're going to make fun of me about this. And and I'm going to talk about why in the 80s, they shit their pants. I remember that. And then like, bring it right back out of them. And you go, they were just nice. They were just nice. They were just nice people. And you have you have 3 ways of murdering them that you're never going to get to.
It's like something and I've always told Amy this, like, it's like being with me is like, it's really fun, but sometimes it's gonna backfire. Like she was before we moved, she was taking a shower, and I was mad because, not mad, but like annoyed because I wanted to take a shower, and so as a bit, I built a wall out of our moving boxes, blocking her from coming down the hall when she turns out of the shower. And then I removed all my clothes and put a bucket on my head and had a broom like it was a jousting sword, you know, and to scare her. And I thought this was a good bit. And she came, opened the door in her towel, screamed in fear, like piercing screamed in fear, slammed the door and started sobbing. And I went, look, you know, I take my shots. I thought this would be fun. I thought a naked knight threatening you would be fun. It didn't occur to me women are very vulnerable when they're in a towel coming out into a dark hallway. I could see how that backfired. So I'm sorry.
That happened similar, not to the creative effect of yours, but similar. Like a month ago, Julie was in the shower and I thought she said, "Get in here and kiss me," but I think she said, "Go in the kitchen and get something." So I was like being like, you know, so I just pressed my lips against the shower curtain, and she.
It's a weird move. No one ever does that. It's never been romantic. Done. It's not romantic. That's it's innovation. You're from the year 2030.
It would be like, you can't have this just yet, you know.
No, that's
like,
how certain religions kiss. Weird religions.
Yeah, your response to get in here and kiss me was to not get in there and just kiss the dirty shower curtain.
No, I thought I'd give her a little preview, and then I'd slide my face over, and she'd get the real thing.
It's one of the most disgusting things. The grout that is on the shower curtain is disgusting.
But she wasn't reacting. Like I had my lips pursed against the curtain for a little while, and nothing. And I was like, all right, maybe she didn't see. So then I just revealed the curtain, and she started screaming so loudly, and then looked in my eyes and kept screaming. Like there was a moment where she still knew it was me, but couldn't stop. Oh man, it was. I've never. You know, there are moments where you like say to yourself, "Could you be a cold-blooded killer and murder without feeling?" Man, I couldn't do it. The look of you know, like some people, they see that and they go, I've never felt that rock hard in my whole life like that. Mm-hmm. Man, I was terrified that I caused that look in somebody's face. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, that's I've been there with Tita. She's very scared of spiders. This isn't a big follow-up, but yeah.
No, it's okay. Do you guys ever do that? Do you guys like pass a dead bird in the street and go, "Thank God I didn't get an erection"?
Well, yes. I've always been.
Yes.
Maybe this one's more for Greg.
I've always been happy. Yeah, Greg, you go ahead. Go ahead.
My whole life is looking at things and going, "Thank God this doesn't turn me on," because I'm walking around turned on all the time, and so now I'm at a point where just when I'm not turned on, I feel better. I'm like, "Oh, this is good. Like this is life, huh?" I'm just surrounded by seaweed and the ocean and a soft penis. Sorry. I've also we're dealing with another thing too. Is that I've like an idiot. I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough.
He's outlets. In the middle of the living room.
I swear to God, there wasn't enough outlets in my room to set up my computer. So now I'm just surrounded by everyone else in the beach house who's trying to be way too quiet around me, and I can't be free with. You know, everyone knows me. They know what kind of maniac I am.
He can't be free with saying he did get a boner from a dead bird.
Yeah. Brendan, man, I'm out on the patio.
I thought they were going to the beach.
I'm on the patio saying whatever I want, Brendan. I'm 6 feet away from this guy. Oh man, what a different world it is out here.
Freedom world. You're in the freedom world. I'm really shut down by these libs.
His eyes are all over the place.
Yeah. Oh man, he looks like you look like a real what's the word? Just a shifty character, like a guy lying to some cops during an interrogation.
Exactly. Greg's in like the middle of a deal going down.
Yeah.
Could you imagine though, if you were just these are all comedians we're here with, which is nice. But imagine if you were just like a normal person and you brought your one uncle to the beach house who has to do his vulgar podcast at 11 o'clock in the middle of
yeah, man, you're on your way to the beach and you're like, I think Uncle just screamed the word midget. I think my uncle just said the most problematic statement I've ever heard. Some silly handicapped midget with a bunch of paperwork named Donnie.
Here's the thing, guys. If you got human shit on your arm, you wouldn't take a little piece of paper, give it a smear, and just be like, hey, that's cool.
No, I'd lick it off my arm.
I'd show everyone in town. You're right, Brendan. Look at my new best friend.
Yeah, I'd eat it.
No, you wouldn't. And that's why you need a bidet from Tushy. Okay. These things, they're basically a necessity in so many countries in the world. And now Tushy is offering a sleek bidet attachment. Okay. This thing's an attachment, Greg. It fits right on your existing toilet.
So wait, I got to get a whole new toilet? I don't have that kind of money.
I got to build a new house, Brendan?
No.
Where am I getting the money in this climate?
None of the above, boys. You use your existing toilet, and for only $79, you get the Tushy bidet attachment. This thing is fantastic.
How much would something like this cost? $1 million?
$79 and shipping is free. It's going to save you money on toilet paper. It's good for the environment. You just use a little bit. You pat yourself dry. And I got to be clear here. This thing connects easily to the water supply behind your toilet, so you're not spraying your asshole with toilet water, Anthony.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but you can't take that away from me.
No, you could do it on your own, but the Tushy bidet won't. Plus, for just $69, you can get the Tushy Ottoman, okay? And this thing is basically a deluxe poop stool. You put your feet up on this thing, and it's just sliding up like you're greased up down there.
I don't understand what that means. I don't understand. What's an ottoman? Like an ottoman?
You put your feet up on this thing, and the poop just comes right out of your asshole. It's phenomenal. It's $69. I'm super stoked to be getting my Tushy. I know you guys, you're going to get a Tushy, I hope. We're going to be shitting like kings. We'll be the kings of shit.
Plus, I won't have all this typhoid fever I've been getting from eating my own fecal material for so many years.
Well, I like my typhoid fever. Keeps me alert at night.
Yeah, it keeps my eyes yellow.
Not every street has lights, you know?
I want to make it clear that Tushy
with typhoid running through my veins, I can't be toppled.
And I do want to make it clear that Tushy bidet has no connection whatsoever to typhoid fever. They contracted that separately. Everyone has an ass. Everyone deserves the gift of Tushy. Go to hellotushy.com/raddude right now and get 10% off your order and free shipping. Make sure you use the /raddude so that we get credit, and more importantly, so you get your discount and free shipping.
How much the discount?
10% discount. So once again, that's go to hellotushy.com/raddude. Well, we had there's a guy painting our new kitchen today, and there's down here in my area, there's like a storage room with some paint. And there's a chance he was going to come down, and there was a character thing we were thinking about doing. We still might do. And I was just ready. I just told Amy, I go, if he has to come down, just have him be quiet. And I was like, this guy's going to think I'm crazy.
No, it would be amazing because he would think you are the character.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, this is some New England football player who lost his feet in a war that didn't happen. Or something. I don't know. Whatever random character.
Greg, you're dead on, man. Brendan does look like an ex-football player who is has lost an appendage. Yeah. And it isn't a bad thing on you. I think it's the bandana.
And the bandana's been working.
I'd still be playing if it wasn't for my foot. I lost my foot, and that cut my career short, but I'd still be playing for sure if it weren't for my foot that I had the diabetes type 2.
Hey.
Greg, what's the thing you didn't answer? What's the thing that you do that you still do from like being a kid or not, or just like from whatever ago?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I've got a bunch, I guess. Whoa, I just got lightheaded. I guess in the comedy clubs, it's weird. Like I bet I'll come around. I'll do like, if I go to do a show, I do like see where the seats are placed. And I'll just go up to the book and be like, this all needs to change. You need to change all of this. And like some of them, like I don't think I need to do that anymore. Well, comedy clubs, you don't need to do that.
Wait, you would go to comedy clubs and tell them to rearrange the seats?
Well, I think it's a thing that no, not comedy clubs. It's a thing that like, so when I used to do shows, you do these shitty shows, you'd walk around and you'd test the mic and you'd be like, look at the room, right? So even if it's in a comedy club, I'll look at the room like, how are these tables distributed? Do I need to tell these people about how to change their tables? And it's like, you don't need to do that where you are in your career. These people are clubs now. You don't need to tell like, who's the wait staff here? They can be too loud. I'm gonna have to just check these people out. And then I have, again, 15 ways to shut down a waiter who's being too loud, who did nothing to me. But I've already got 9 insults about his wife, his clothes, his baldness, in case he's too loud during the room. But that's fine. That's it. But I don't really need to do that anymore.
But, well, it's funny because, like, you kind of do sometimes. Like, even at a club, you kind of, there is, for somehow they slip through the cracks for years without, you kind of have to be like, hey, man, why are you not, I mean, COVID's different, but before COVID, you still would have to be like, hey, why are you not seating people in the front? Like, what are you doing? Like, or what? The mic is way too low, like stuff like people will turn me down a lot because I'm loud on stage, but they turn me down too low and stuff like that, where you still have to talk to them.
There was a thing, I don't know if I brought this on the podcast, so I thought was kind of fun about COVID, is that like all of the shitty rooms are now the best rooms because like, all the good clubs were like, oh, we know how to run a room that is a room that people were packing people in tight. They know how to do comedy. But all the people who've just been getting by with like, I've been doing an outdoor show in a parking lot for years. I know I can wire a microphone system through your Ford Explorer. And they're just like, they're the best shows to do now because they've been horrible for years. But now they're like, it's like what I was saying, like in the room of COVID, the comedy club booker with a flatbed truck is king. Like this world we're living in now, like all the really, like, thank God I was nice to these people on the way up and it wasn't like, fuck you, I'm better than you now. Cause like now I'm asking, hey, what brewery can I do that's outside and you have a megaphone I'm just talking to?
Yeah. Or like the clubs that have been like, we've been socially distant for 12 years. We've been making a profit off 14 people in the club for the entire time. So no trouble there. We just will go on. We'll just take your temperature. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Some of these clubs are like, as long as the mob still needs to launder money through us, we'll be A-okay.
Yeah. So some people were like happy about some of these shows, but I don't know if you guys have done any of these. I know Anthony did because we did it together, but we did a show in the park with no microphone, and like the green room was not the green room. It was just a part of the lawn, and like they call you over, and you're just a man standing to the left, and now you just walk over to then yell at people, and it's like this isn't no different than a man just yelling at people in a park. Like I am no different than that now. But they're like, this is a show. It's like where do you get the balls to call this a show? This is people screaming at people.
It also felt weird to be screaming at other people in a park with no microphone and not have a political message attached to you. You know what I mean? Like, I've only ever seen that done at like a rally for a social cause. It felt very weird to do jokes in that setting. I didn't mind. I think I always enjoy when there's just chaos in stand-up. That puts me more at ease for some reason. Mm-hmm. So like the fact of not having a microphone or just being underneath a tree and screaming, I think for whatever reason, it lowers the bar so much for me that it makes me comfy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's that, like when there's no one can win, then it's okay because I wasn't supposed to win.
Yeah. Yes.
What's odd to me about the whole thing is that, like, so we're in this business where people have tried it in every single way and have tried to make money and have tried to make it in every single possible iteration. It's kind of weird to me because, like, now these park shows are like fine, you know, they're like they're okay. So it's kind of weird to me they just haven't always been going on. That somebody hasn't been running a show in Central Park for 12 years.
They kind of have.
They have been.
They have. Our self-esteem used to just be better. Laughter in the Park has been going on ever since I've been in comedy in New York. But I think you're just so used to doing comedy indoors with a microphone and a stage that you're like, in a park in 95 degrees? What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
But having nothing, you're like, yeah, of course I'll do it.
Do that show, Stand Up on the Corner, where you just do stand up on a street corner, and people be like, we were trying to do it, and then we just got to a point in our careers where, like, I'm not going close to that anymore, and I think we just forgot about it. But it was chugging along. That guy who knew that they'd be like, my heyday for stand up on the street is today because COVID happened, and now I got Jim Gaffigan on the street now. It's like crazy.
Yeah, it's like if you get really rich, like, you forget the bus exists, but it's still out there. You know?
Well, I'll tell you who you can't forget about. That's Randy Epley. Because if you try and get off Randy Epley's Comedy Dungeon email list, forget about it. You're on that thing. You're locked into that thing for life.
It is easier to leave a Planet Fitness membership than it is to get off the Comedy Dungeon email chain. Oh man,
you got to explain that to people because only 3 of us know who that is. Randy Epley's Comedy Dungeon was one of the worst. Was it like a hostel?
Yeah.
You're just doing stand up for 3 people who don't speak the language, and then he would come out with a bomb strapped to his chest. As a bit, and then people would just go, is this a joke? Is this real? I'm scared of New York.
Boom. Yeah, they would get petrified. He looked like a guy who had spent long enough time in basements to start to look like one. He is as close as a human being as you could get to Gollum I've ever seen. And yeah, he would do these shows, and these shows would be marathons, but only marathons because he did about 20 minutes in between each person. It was the best. And just that broken amp, that shitty microphone. I loved and I think I knew at some point I would get out of the Randy Epley stage of comedy. So
Are you ever really out though? I don't know if you're ever really out.
No, yeah, and joke's on me because you're not. But, like, you know, at a certain point you go, all right, I'm done making these a regular occurrence, or I'm done needing these. So I remember being like, man, this is not going to be around one day. Like, I remember really soaking in the Randy Epley Comedy Dungeon experience.
Dude,
go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, thank you. And what Greg said at the beginning is, honestly, you think he's exaggerating. He's not. I swear to God, this is not an exaggeration. I did a Comedy Dungeon show that was 6 French people, and it was established at the beginning of the show that not a one of them spoke English. I swear to God, no English. And we all just said, we're still doing this show. Why are you here? Why are we here? Who is this for? You can't understand us. And, like, I think he got them in under the guise that they were going to, like, see juggling or some shit, but it was
at the
talking, end, and they can't speak English. And it was a whole show of silence because no one could understand at all, 0 English.
Dude, well, I go to the Randy Epley show once, and behind him he drags a suitcase on wheels. Let me tell you this: there's 3 people in the crowd, more than enough place for him to put his suitcase not on the floor. He opens up the suitcase so slowly, like zzz, on the floor, like he's unzipping a bomb, opens it, and then proceeds to eat miscellaneous food out of a plastic bag on the floor out of a suitcase. And I was like, what's happening here? Why is he eating? Why is he eating off the floor into a suit? He lives here in New York. Where's the suitcase? Why is there food in the suitcase? Loose food.
The reason I'm not laughing is because I'm stunned. because the first Randy Epley show I ever did, I didn't know what Randy Epley looked like. I walk into the comedy dungeon, which is just the basement of a hostel, and it literally looks like a dungeon.
Yeah.
And there's just an old, like, spidery man on the floor on two, not sitting like on his butt. He's sitting on his knees, leaning forward, almost like a dog, eating old Chinese food off the floor, exactly like what you just said. And I go, well, that can't be the guy that runs it. So let me look around for someone else. And that's Randy. So now I thought that was a one-off. Turns out he's just eating off the floor every time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. How is he still do? It's crazy. He's crazy. But that comedy is still happening. Like that stuff is. I mean, maybe his show's not happening because of COVID, but that's all happening. It's all bad.
He's like he's exposed to himself to so much bacteria over the years. He's like the one guy who's just like, I'm not worried about COVID. You know, like whatever I've had through the years, I'll be fine.
He used to do that bomb bit where he would wear road flares taped to his chest for an entire 4-hour show, and then in the end he would rip his jacket off, and people would go, "Wait, really? Like the comedy wasn't good enough for me to believe you're not going to blow us all up."
Yeah, and what I like too is like he was somewhat high and mighty about comedy a little bit, where you know, like whatever he was just doing, then for him to be like, everybody kind of does that joke, man.
You know? Also, what Greg said, like, not only was the comedy not good enough for you not to think maybe the bomb was real, the comedy was of the nature that you kind of were inclined to think it was real. You know what I mean? Like, it was bad in a disturbing way.
Yeah, in a psycho way.
Oh, this is the kind of guy who, like, that's his last set, and he wants to take out, like, 15 German kids with him on the way out.
Yeah, he did have he was like a Michael Douglas in Falling Down kind of kind of energy.
Yeah.
It's so funny how many bad shows you did in the beginning that you were just like, I guess I'm not good at comedy. And it was like, no, you were great. These shows break you. But like, this is something I get mad about. Like a lot of these young comics who get famous fast, like they have all this confidence. And it's like, yeah, that's because you got lucky. Someone picked you up early and you didn't have to go through these hostile shows or all this bullshit that really just made you not believe in yourself in any way at all. You know, like you didn't have to do quiet comedy at a library, which is like somewhere or something. Whisper voice.
I truly believe if I never stepped foot in the comedy dungeon, I wouldn't have as many gray hairs as I have. I would have a different body. I think so.
Dude, LOL Comedy Club was like a knife. It was like people were like, oh, I might get hurt tonight. Yeah. Sorry, Brennan, go ahead.
No, you're right. It's such a fine line because I think all those brutal shows, they really do. Like a lot of those guys that just blow up and get handpicked, they can't handle a rough room, you know? And we, all three of us can. And like, I think part of that is and now the thing is a lot of those guys that blow up, they don't have to handle a rough room because they have a following.
Yeah, they get to just do their art.
Sold out. Right. Yeah, no, that's great. But you do develop skills doing those brutal shows where you're like, I mean, when we used to do late night at the Strip, it was like you literally had to hone your crowd work because you needed it to stop people from leaving. You literally had to talk a guy into staying there. And like that was and like that those skills have aided me because I'm not blown up. I do have to work, you know, fucking honky tonks where everyone's drunk and I gotta be, you know, the ringmaster of the circus while I'm trying to tell my jokes, you know? So I do think those rooms serve a purpose. I wish I didn't have to do them. I wish that we didn't do them. But I do think that all three of us have these skills of being able to control a room that some comics don't have that we got from doing bad shows.
Yeah, but I don't want that skill. I don't want it. I want this. I want to be able to walk up there and talk about whatever goofy shit. I'm on this podcast. I'm so free and weird that it's like I'm trying to be able to bring some of this on stage, but a lot of times you just can't because people go, "Wait, what? Why is he doing? What am I looking at?" But like you have to like kind of incorporate it. But it's like you see some of these kids who like they just blow up and then get to just go out and be weird, and it's like. Good, good for you. You have a crowd following, but I'm not mad. I'm just saying.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I mean, it's like, I did this. I'd
rather have the money.
I did a fucking Christmas show at a Chinese buffet for an HVAC company. And if one of these kids who blew up tried to do that show, they just would have thrown a rock at their head because it was pandemonium. And I knew the only way out of it was to just start making fun of the boss. I knew enough to know that and let them get in on it. And it's like, we've learned those skills, but like, if you're just used to doing your act and you get to do whatever you want to do, you couldn't do that. And now, it's funny because it's like Greg said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do the HVAC Christmas fucking party at the Chinese buffet, but it paid pretty well, and that's my job. This is my living. So, it is what it is.
Well, yeah, I think you still, you get some gigs where you're like, oh, in this room, I'm allowed to be who I am. And then you get other gigs where you're like, I have to do a job. And you just, as I go, I just hope that I have to do less jobs and more rooms that are like, hey, we're here to watch you do your art. But until you can get to that place, man, you're doing jobs.
You're doing jobs, man. Hit jobs. Man. Get in, get out. Give me the cash. Give me the $70,000 tonight.
Yeah, you're doing wet work.
You're doing. Yeah, you're on a roof in July. But yeah, I remember doing 10 minutes at a swingers convention and leaving and going, that was pretty good. And it probably wasn't. But comedy, I had done so many horrible gigs. The idea of doing 10 minutes on a microphone that barely worked in front of a group of people that all wanted to fuck each other, I was like, not too bad, honestly. That's a dark place to be in.
Yeah. I did a one at Levity 2 years in a row, and it was a nursing home that was owned by like Hasidic Jewish guys, or like it was like a Jewish family or something. And I wore the guy go on stage, and the owner or boss goes, "You wore that shirt yesterday," because I had like my red plaid shirt on. Like he goes, "I wore it last year, right?" And like this is a knife fight show, so I just responded with, "You've never taken that outfit off," because it's just like, and like I was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? This is bad." It's kind of a religious joke, but then I was like, "Yeah, I don't like religion, so fuck this person." And but then the crowd like lit up, and then I started like digging on this guy, and I don't know that these jokes, if taped, I would, and if I had anything to take, it would be taken. But it was kind of like, hey man, like this is like you're just trying to survive out here. These people the people in the front row were trying to fuck each other because they were like, they all work together. So like this was their first time outside of work. And so they're just broadly talking to each other. While I'm trying to do whatever. Oh, this is that show. I told you this. This was the show that I finally get them. They're starting to laugh. The owner walks on stage, looks at me and goes, "Tell them the buffet's open now," in the middle of my set. And I just went, fuck it. Buffet's open now. I hate my life. And that was it.
I had a show, and this was in a comedy club. This was in a comedy club, and they had a new manager, and he was a good guy, and he was just a really proficient and good restaurant manager, but had no experience in comedy, right? And he's behind the bar, and it was a small club, and I'm going into my Lunchables bit, which is a big bit for me. I don't do it as much anymore, but it's one of the few jokes of mine that people sometimes recognize because it got played a lot on the radio. But I'm going into it, and he goes, "Stop, hang on, just stop, hang on." And so it just wrecks the joke automatically. And he's digging around for something. And then he runs up to the stage. he just happened to have a pack of Lunchables. And he thought in his mind, it was like, I'm going to help you. Now you have a Lunchables to hold up while without no concept of, you just fucked the whole thing, man, because you just stopped me in the middle of the funny part. And I'm just going to hold this up as if you didn't know what Lunchables were. Like,
well, see, that guy doesn't do what we do. He didn't play it 3 more levels. He didn't go, okay, I'm going to grab the Lunchables. I'm going to run up there. He's going to say, this is like what, like he didn't think about what are you going to now do with the Lunchables.
Right.
He didn't see past that wall. He goes, he said Lunchables. I got Lunchables.
Right.
I got to save this thing.
Yeah.
The only way that guy works for me is if he had something for all of your bits. That's the only way that I go, all right, man, this
he pulls
guy,
out a noose.
Yeah. This guy is a Brendan fan. This guy pulled out Vietnam fatigues for the joke about his dad.
Here's a baby in a pool.
Yeah. I can't think of anyone coming. I only remember the night at Foxwoods where I was bombing so badly, and then John, the bartender, came on stage to give me a shot, and I was so paralyzed by nerves and in the moment, I didn't feel him next to me, and the audience started cracking up laughing. And I thought I was starting to do well. And then he tapped me on the shoulder. And I wasn't even...
But that's also gross. He shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
It was horrible. And he was like a guy in my corner. And then he was like, I thought you needed this. And then everyone upended in laughter. And at that moment, I should have just walked off stage.
Yeah.
I really should have. But I joined them in laughing at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
that's the best way.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, that was the only way to survive in that moment. But it's like, man, I wonder if those moments take hits on you that you just can't see, you know?
Well, and the crazy thing is the crowd's perspective on these kind of things, because like I got a taste of it. I was getting tattooed one time, and the tattoo artist told me, "Oh, there was some comedians at she knew I was a comedian. She goes, there were some comedians at this tattoo convention I did last week. Not good." And I go, what was the setup? You know, because I'm like, maybe they were in a separate room and you could sit down, you know. And she goes, oh, they just put up a stage, and just while everyone was getting tattooed in the various booths at the convention, they were telling jokes.
That's the dumbest idea.
That would never. Are you insane? You're just tattoo artists concentrating and people in pain. That's and the noise of 1,000 buzzing machines. And these guys were probably making $50, and you're just and your concept is not good. They weren't good.
Also, if you laugh, you fuck your tattoo up.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Sometimes comedy feels like, remember that Fox show, The Chair? Yeah. That's how comedy feels, where they're just like, yeah, man, we're just gonna throw all these things at you, and you just you got to try, and if it doesn't go well, we're going to criticize you. And it's like, yeah, man, it's not, this should be, it's not supposed to work.
Yeah.
Dude, the one, I think the one of the, this isn't one of the worst things story-wise. Like, it's not a great story, but the most pain I think I felt on stage was I was working Bananas in Hasbrook Heights, and right before I go on, I swear to God, I think maybe I was opening for DePaulo or something, and I'm hosting. Right before I go on, she goes, you can't curse. So my whole set list of everything I was going to talk about is like, I can't do any of this because all of it's, and also, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have been there, but when you're doing a joke, you go, oh, fuck, this goes to a dirty place.
Yes. Yeah.
And I didn't realize. So I remember I'm doing my set and then had to abandon I was like, so I get to this girl and and I'm in her panties, and then, whoa, that's it. And then people, like, I just cut the bit halfway through. I forgot what the bit was. It was like a vulgar bit. So then the crowd's looking at me like, what were you talking about? Why did you waste our time talking about a setup of a story? That's the it. So bad. Some guy goes, dude, you got to get better. Like, it wasn't even like, it was like, man, you got to like go home, come back. Right. So I'm only hosting. So it was like 10 or 12 minutes, you know, I get off, the feature goes on, and they have this rule where you have to do 5 minutes in between the feature and the headliner.
Yeah.
And even if you're great, that never works. Like it never works because you're not being funny at all. Now, if I had nothing already, like I had nothing before that, as about to walk up, they go, you need to do 5 minutes. Like they didn't, I was like, I'm just going to bring them up. And they were like, no, you have to do 5 minutes. Went up there with no material. And for 5 minutes, just kind of was like, so how are you, ma'am? How are you? And she was like, just bring up the next comedian. And I was like, I can't. And then I go to the next guy. I'm like, hey, what are you up to? And he was like, just bring up the headliner. Like they were all telling me to do it, but I knew I had to eat this 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes of raw pain.
And
I don't know,
it's the worst.
My head.
Oh man, it's so funny. And it's the worst because you can't break and you can't be like, I'm doing this because the owner thinks you're children. That's why this is all happening.
They don't believe you'll make it back from the bathroom in time.
Most of you have looked each other in the eyes and had abortions. But the owner thinks if I swear, you're going to get very upset.
Opening for Nick DiPaolo, whose first joke was looking at the monkey on stage and went, look, the president is here. That is what he said. But I wasn't allowed to curse. It was insane. I saw him do that. I went, what the fuck is happening? Because I was like, I guess DiPaolo's working clean now. And they were like, oh no, he's further than ever. But it was like 2008 or something like that, or I don't know what it was. I don't remember what it was, but it was bad. And that was just a real painful set.
I showed up similarly, kind of similar story. I showed up to a casino gig in Iowa. I was hired. Just no specifications were given other than headliner, you know? So you assume if nobody tells you anything, you assume it's normal headlining set, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's no reason not to assume that. Everything's fine. There's no one really there that is like in charge, really. There's no one kind of involved with telling me what to do. 5 minutes before I go on, the host, who I guess is the representative of the booker, goes, so it's an hour and 10 minutes clean.
Yeah. And you just go, no, it's not.
10. An hour and 10 clean. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, because they like people just, they like the people to keep drinking. So it's an hour and 10. And I have like, man, if I stretch, I can do 45 clean. If I stretch and bring out some duds from the old days, like I can do and a little crowd work. But an hour and 10 clean is like, what are you talking about? Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's not even a good show. There's already been too much comedy. So I just did crowd work the entire time.
I think it was Sam Evans. I was on the road once. I think it was Sam. I was with me. But I brought a feature. It was all in the emails. All was good. I bring a feature. Get there. There's 2 people in the room already, 2 comics. And I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? You know, and they're like, well, I'm the host and he's the feature. And I go, oh, well, I actually have a feature. And that's all. I swear that's all I said. Yeah. The host looks at the feature looks at the host and goes, well, then I'm hosting. And then the host was like, no, fuck you, man. I'm hosting. And they then got into a fist fight. Screaming at each other, both get thrown out of the club. Now it's just, I'm like, Sam just has to go up cold. Also, I would have easily just been like, you do a guest spot, you're hosting, right? But they never asked me. They just started fighting. Then both of them got thrown out of the club. It was upstate New York. I can't remember that club. But anyway,
like Laugh It Up Poughkeepsie or something.
No. It was like an improv. I forgot what it was.
Like the Albany Funny Bone or something?
Yeah, it was one of those. As I'm saying this, I'm like, why am I saying this? Why? This is a fact that doesn't even matter. But anyway, they get whatever. Then the poor Sam is on stage. The waitress comes back at me and she starts yelling at me like, I did all this. And I'm like, here's the email. I came with a guy. That guy also could have did a guest spot. Anyway, Sam ended up doing 45 up front because he had to do like the host and the feature spot, and then I went up to like a horrible crowd, and then we got out of there and left.
I like today. I like that we just had a chat about comedy. I like this. How are you guys feeling about this? I want to do a emotional check-in.
Good, man. I'm
Anthony
on vacation.
First.
Nothing. It would take a lot to bother me in this setting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think you guys did a great job. I'm fine. with who I am as a person. But this was the hardest episode of the Rad Dude Cast I ever had to do in my life because my ADD was flying. I was holding on to every word you'd say. I would just grab the last word and be like, okay, he's talking about it. It was nearly impossible for me to pay attention to anything that was happening today. But we did it. We got through it.
That's why I brought it up, because I saw that in your eyes, and I want to tell you, you're fantastic. You're fantastic. You brought up most of the subjects of conversation. You nailed it. Okay.
We had a really fun character thing today, but I was like, "There's no way I can do that."
That's why all our names are Willie Willikers, Jeffy Ringling, and Lemon Snow. We were all supposed to be a British band.
Don't tell them. We're gonna do it next time.
Away. Come on. Someone's
next week.
To bleep that.
Well, I don't want them to just have a heart attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mike, what are we at time-wise? Do you know?
60. He messages.
Oh, we're at 60? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're good. We got through it. That was a war zone for me mentally.
You were amazing.
I'm out here. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Brendan's
Greg is inside in the middle of the house dealing with everyone probably walking by, everything. I'm out here on the pad. It's just me and the birds out here, man. I'm having a good time.
You guys got anything to plug?
Nah.
I'm actually.
I do.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go first.
I am actually, if you're in the Cleveland area, I am headlining Hilarities Thursday, August 20th through Saturday the 22nd. Drastically reduced capacity, so social distancing will be great. Everything's going to be safe. But because of that reduced capacity, tickets are going to go fast. So get them as soon as they go up on the Hilarities website. And then, of course, definitely subscribe, rate, and take a second. Take 30 seconds and review the Rad Dude Cast on wherever you get your podcasts. That really helps us out. We appreciate you guys listening so much. And then if you want more Rad Dude Cast, we provide 3 bonus episodes a week. That's at patreon.com/RadDudeCast. Greg, go ahead.
So I guess I'm doing a comedy night at Priam Vineyards in Connecticut on August 8th at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are $30. Price includes a first glass of wine. This is what I'm talking about. These are the kind of shows that I thought we escaped. But we're back performing out. But this is gonna be fun because these guys know how to put on a good outdoor show.
These guys know how to put on a good bad show.
It's in Colchester. Well, I'm gonna be great, and me and Sam Evans are gonna be there. It's in Colchester, Connecticut, ticket prices have been drastically increased. Only God knows why. That includes your first glass of wine.
That's quite the plug for the show. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, ticket prices have been drastically increased.
And I couldn't tell you why. Yeah. I know what's coming to these people. I don't get it.
I know how much I'm making, and I know it's not enough to justify that amount of unless 4 people are coming to this show, guaranteed the numbers add up. That's it.
That'll do it, man. I got nothing. I'm around. You want to hang out with me? You got to find me, bro.
All right. Goodbye.
The Rad Dude Cast is hosted by Anthony DeVito, Brendan Eyre, and Greg Stone. Original music by Brian Zippert. Produced by Mike Suarez. Executive producers Brendan Eyre, Greg Stone, and Anthony DeVito. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.